Благодаря благословению Мадината Эрудит у нас будет мир. Корень любого зла – невежество.
Players often find that Garro doesn't deal enough damage, gets taken out easily, and that she always seems to be at a disadvantage. Let's take a look at how we can solve these issues. 1. Low damage output. Garro will have a damage problem only if she didn't farm properly in the early and mid-game. Players might need to adjust their gameplay to account for this. 2. Lack of survivability. Garro is easily taken out if she gets jumped by enemy heroes. To avoid this, players must learn to position themselves well and learn which heroes to work with and look out for. 3. Always at a disadvantage. Garro just won't deal a lot of damage without good equipment. Players also need to be able to figure out how to turn the tables when they're at a disadvantage.
Горе тем, кто противится знаниям.
Let's take a look at how to play and farm effectively with Garro.
Мной движет мудрость.
Garro relies on her basic attack for most of her damage, and a lot of her skills revolve around it. Skill 1 lets her increase its range to poke the enemy, while their ultimate increases crit rate and attack speed. Meanwhile, Skill 2 lets her crowd control the enemy, and the second phase of her ultimate grants movement speed to let her chase after enemies or flee.
Пусть свет зальет всю землю.
Basic attack mana recovery. Basic attacks will drain Garro's mana extremely quickly while Skill 1 is active. However, once Skill 1 is deactivated, basic attacks will restore mana whenever they hit an enemy. Scouting the brush. Garro's Skill 2 triggers a special animation and sound whenever it hits an enemy, making it useful for scouting the brush.
I saw someone in that brush.
Не рассчитывай на меня в следующем испытании мастера.
During the early game, Garro is best off playing it safe, focusing on farming and making sure to score last hits on minions using her basic attack. She can also use Skill 1 to poke the enemy, and if the opportunity arises, take them out to gain an advantage in gold. Mid-game. In the mid-game, continue to prioritize farming. Watch your positioning while taking out towers, and try to stay behind your teammates to avoid getting defeated. Every respawn countdown is another wasted farming opportunity. Late game. In the late game, Garro's equipment should be providing her with some serious boosts to attack speed, crit rate, and damage. At this point, you can focus on dishing out damage in teamfights or prepare ambushes from the brush with your teammates. Disadvantageous situations. If your team is at a disadvantage, spend your time protecting the base and farming. Avoid starting teamfights and don't give the enemy the opportunity to gank you. Once you've got most of your equipment, join your teammates and begin the counter-offensive.
Грустная мелодия оплакивает весенний ветер, незнакомый в этих краях.
Garro can use different combos in different situations to maximize her damage.
Мы с самого начала не верили в судьбу.
A great combo for clearing minion waves, Skill 2 will silence and slow your enemies, while Skill 1 gives you the range you need to keep the enemy marksman and support on the back foot from a comfortable distance.
Все хорошо?
During teamfights, use Skill 2 to silence the enemy while dealing area damage. Then use the ultimate to boost crit rate and damage, and Skill 1 to get some extra range, which will let you wear down the enemy's health from a distance. If the enemy moves out of your range, you can end the ult early for some extra movement speed and go after them.
Мадинат Эрудит об этом позаботится.
If the enemy is far away, you can activate Skill 1 and quickly use the ultimate twice to increase your range, movement speed, and crit rate all at once. Then chase after the enemy while attacking. If they move out of range of your basic attack, finish with Skill 2 for a final bit of damage.
Мадинат Светлячков не забыт.
There are several lineups that can have a major effect on Garro's performance. Let's take a look at some of them. With supports such as Ming or Cheyenne to healer, Garro can focus on dealing damage. Tanky and crowd control focused heroes such as Lu Shan and Chang Fei can absorb lots of damage and crowd control the enemy to protect Garro. Garro deals extra damage against shields, posing a major threat to heroes who rely on them such as Liu Bei and Minky. Garro struggles to escape once the enemy is close to her. so heroes with stealth skills such as Prince of Lanling and Guegutsu pose a major threat to her. Heroes such as Nuwa and Ganon Mo can use their long-range skills to make short work of Garro.